All right, welcome in Friday afternoon. And I'm going to bring you a really cool moment regarding Christian McCaffrey that John Lynch brought attention to that I didn't notice on first watch of the game, but I think that John Lynch thinks it's significant. Kyle Shanahan brought it up in a team meeting following the win against the Rams, and I think that it's significant in as far as how Christian McCaffrey integrates with the 49ers roster and their locker room. This is the moment right here. We'll pop it open, a screenshot from the Fox broadcast. You can go ahead and actually, if this is Tim Kawakami's article with John Lynch, it's his podcast with John Lynch. Go ahead and listen to that. And you can also see the written version of it up on The Athletic. John Lynch brought this moment to our attention. I put the link in the comment section, the chat section there for you. But we can go back to the moment. You see Christian McCaffrey is there in the back right. This is after George Kittle's touchdown near the end of the game. Put the 49ers up big. They're about to change the score from 24-30 there on Fox. If you go and watch the replay, and the replay of this is in Tim's article up on The Athletic. I'm not allowed to play the actual game footage here. YouTube will flag me from Fox. So I could put the screenshot up there, but go ahead and check the video of the touchdown. George Kittle scores over in this corner of the end zone, right? And Christian McCaffrey opens his arms out wide to give him a hug, but George is so excited that he doesn't see him. Christian McCaffrey literally waits over 15 seconds with his arms outstretched there until George Kittle's done getting mobbed by the rest of his teammates with his arms outstretched for the hug. And then the hug obviously happens. Now, everybody's like, why do you bring this up besides the fact that it's funny? Well, this is what John Lynch said about it. You can see, even in the celebrations after touchdowns, there's one that's really hilarious. Kyle showed it at the team meeting. After George scored his touchdown, Christian's doing this, lifting his arms up, waiting for the hug, and George didn't come, and Christian stayed there for about 60 seconds until George finally came and saw him. That's just representative that he fits in our locker room really well. It wasn't 60 seconds. I timed it. If you watch the replay, you don't actually see the hug, but you see when Christian McCaffrey finally was able to put his arms down. It was about 16 seconds. So I said over 15 seconds, but it's literally Christian McCaffrey just standing there. Got to make this wider. Standing there with his arms stretched out, waiting for the hug from George Kittle. And the hug never came. Well, I mean, it did come, but it came, 16.2 seconds later. And John Lynch, as you can see from this quote, just got a complete crack out of it. I mean, he was rolling over laughing, it seems, in the booth when he saw that, and probably was laughing even harder because Kyle Shanahan played this moment in the team meeting following the 49ers win over the Rams, probably on the Monday after that game. This kind of stuff is a big deal to the 49ers. I started covering this team in 2017, and they weren't any good in 2017. But one of the tenets that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch wanted to incorporate into the 49ers, because they thought that this would help lead to long-term sustainability, was that they wanted to imprint a college-like vibe in their locker room. They wanted players who liked each other. They wanted camaraderie on the team because they thought that would be unusual for the NFL level when it's just all about money, 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 mercenary, mercenary, mercenary. The 49ers thought they could get a leg up if they found players that would actually gel in the locker room and like each other. So because of that, the 49ers have actually really emphasized this when they're searching for new players, either through the draft or free agency. Of course, talent is paramount. You want talented players. You're not going to pick a bad player just because he's a nice guy. But if talent is equal between a couple guys that the 49ers are deciding between, and one of those two guys they think will fit better into their locker room, they're going to go with the guy that fits better into the locker room. This has been a definite team emphasis. And in this Christian McCaffrey moment that you might have missed, we can put it back up on the screen for those of you just joining right now. This is it right here. This is Christian McCaffrey waiting for a hug over on the right while George Kittle doesn't see him. He waited over 16 seconds for it. In that moment, John Lynch himself and Kyle Shanahan himself, by playing this video in the team meeting, they see that another superstar has essentially assimilated within the 49ers locker room. And Christian McCaffrey's a superstar. We all saw the game on Sunday, but imagine how quickly this happened. This was like 9 or 10 days after Christian McCaffrey was traded to the 49ers. After this game, he was at their Halloween party, right? Dressed as Eminem, 8 Mile Eminem. And it seemed that he fit right in. I've been in the locker room. It seems that Christian McCaffrey fit right in from day one. Talanoa Hufanga, Charles Amenahu on day one after he got traded, after he took the flight in the morning from Charlotte. Both of those guys, Amenahu, Hufanga, pulled up chairs to Christian McCaffrey's locker. We're talking to him. They're already joking around. Guys, this is not like the most usual stuff in NFL locker rooms. NFL locker rooms, again, these guys are paid professionals. They're there to do a job. It's been my experience, having covered both college and now the NFL, that normally there's a little bit more camaraderie between college guys on the college team. And the NFL is a little bit more businesslike. I do think that the 49ers have been able to build and sustain a college-like vibe in the locker room. And it just so happens that I covered McCaffrey in both college at Stanford and now with the 49ers. And I see the same kind of college-like disposition with him interacting with this 49ers team. So credit to Tim. He wrote this article where he interviewed John Lynch, and John Lynch brought this up. John Lynch talked about it regarding Christian McCaffrey. One more time, the quote: "You can see even in the celebrations after touchdowns, there's one that's really hilarious. Kyle showed it at the team meeting. After George scored his touchdown, Christian's doing his lifting his arms up thing, waiting for the hug, and George didn't come, and Christian stayed there for about 60 seconds until George finally came and saw him. That's just representative that he fits our locker room really well." And that is really important because obviously Christian McCaffrey fits the 49ers offense really well. But if you're trying to build a sustainable winner, the guys have to like each other, I think. Teams that can be good in the short term that want to claw each other's eyes out, but as far as sustainability over the long term, it takes some real camaraderie. And I think anybody that has played sports recognizes that. You have to, especially in a sport like football, where your job is so dependent on everybody else's job, it's really important to go through that grind together. Anyway, that's just my thought for this Friday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a good one. More big-time 49ers content coming out soon as we're analyzing this bye week as we look at the first 8 games ahead of the back 9 of this 49ers season. Everybody take care. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your Friday.